to assess the situation from so many perspectives. A military perspective. What are the consequences going to be? What are the best options? What are the options we have? We choose the best among them. But for you to go and sit in the masjid and just recite Sahih al-Bukhari, that's obviously not what Islam calls us to. That's a faulty understanding of Islam. So faith is a very powerful. So some people have this kind of wrong understanding. They sort of reduce Iman to some of its small, tiny actions. But that's not the whole thing of it. So your salah, your reciting of the Quran should make you relevant to your times. And if it doesn't, there's something wrong you're doing. There's something wrong in your approach to the Quran and to Islam and to Iman and to Allah. So you need to check it out and you need to fix it. So I'm going to deal with two of the manifestations or aspects of Iman that the Prophet ﷺ pointed to. And these are actually important human traits. Very powerful and very empowering. Very empowering. They will raise the quality of your life. And they will strengthen any community wherever that community is. Although they seem to be very friendly and they seem to be very soft, sort of soft skills. But they are very powerful. Because the human dynamics of power, by the way, are not so straightforward. لِلْمُنَافِقِينَ عَلَامَاتٍ. أو كما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. The hypocrites have signs. مُسْتَكْبِرُونَ لَا يَأْلَفُونَ وَلَا يُؤْلَفُونَ. They are haughty and full of pride, and it's not easy for anyone to get on with them. These are the hypocrites, the munafiqeen. So that shows that this kind of easygoingness comes from Iman and from faith. That's a beautiful trait. And when we have this, I'll tell you, we will have less disunity among us as Muslims. Less disputes. How often we dispute and we have fights and quarrels over very simple things, tiny things that don't deserve that kind of attention. But we have issues. We don't give each other the benefit of the doubt. We're searching for other people's mistakes. We're searching for an opportunity. We are on the lookout for an opportunity to put someone else down. That shows a troubled heart. That shows a weak heart. And that shows a low level of Iman. So that means when a person has a higher level of Iman, this person is more easygoing, it's easy to relate to. A second trait, the Prophet ﷺ says, Al-Haya'u. Two is to do something for the welfare of the collective group. That's what Islam teaches us. It doesn't teach you to hide. It's not about you just reciting Quran and praying your salah, which are great and good. And then saying, well, everything will fix itself. That's not the way things happen. That's not the way things happen. You know, the historians in the last 200 years of the history of the Muslim Ummah, in some of the countries, the Muslim lands in Asia Minor, some of those countries that were taken over by the Soviet Union at some stage. The scholar said that in one of the main cities there, when the Soviets were approaching that city to take it over, the Muslims were puzzled what to do. What should we do? Some of them said, let's take up arms and defend ourselves, defend our honor and die. Die with honor instead of living with humiliation. But the majority of them, they said no. What we will do, we will sit in the masjid and we will start reciting and reading together collectively Sahih al-Bukhari. And the blessings of that is going to help us. Some of you, look at that with amazement. What kind of logic is this? Well, that was prevalent there at the time. That was prevalent. So they thought there would be so many blessings and barakah, which there are blessings and barakah, in reciting Quran or reciting the words of the Prophet ﷺ, but that's not the right way to approach it. That's not the right situation to take the barakah. Because Allah made us live this life and experience it according to the rules that run this life. So you need to assess the situation from so many perspectives. A military perspective. What are the consequences going to be? What are the best options? What are the options we have? We choose the best among them. But for you to go and sit in the masjid and just recite Sahih al-Bukhari, that's obviously not what Islam calls us to. That's a faulty understanding of Islam. So faith is a very powerful. So some people have this this kind of wrong understanding, they sort of reduce Iman to some of its small, tiny actions. But that's not the whole thing of it. So your salah, your reciting of the Quran should make you relevant to your times. And if it doesn't, there's something wrong you're doing. I saw him, I loved him. I loved him. And I know he loves me. So he recognized Iman in the heart of that person. He recognized the Iman in that person. So a believer is easygoing, is accommodating. And that reflects balance. It's not weakness. Some people see this as a weakness. It's a source of power. It's a sign of balance. It's a sign of strength. And then the Prophet ﷺ says, and the best among people, خَيْرُ النَّاسِ أَنْفَعُهُمْ. The best among people is the one that is most helpful, that is of most service to others. These are the criteria of Islam. So the Prophet ﷺ linked that trait, personal trait of easygoingness, that a person is easy for you to get on with them and connect with them. The Prophet ﷺ linked it to Iman. Al-mu'minu ya'laf wa yu'laf. So in the Arabic language, this kind of statement shows causality. So Iman leads the person to be easy for you to relate to, easy for you to get on with. And that's why another hadith reported by Imam Ahmad in his Musnad, the Prophet ﷺ says, لِلْمُنَافِقِينَ عَلَامَاتٍ. أو كما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. The hypocrites have signs. مُسْتَكْبِرُونَ لَا يَأْلَفُونَ وَلَا يُؤْلَفُونَ. They are haughty and full of pride, and it's not easy for anyone to get on with them. These are the hypocrites, the munafiqeen. So that shows that this kind of easygoingness comes from Iman and from faith.